Shaner.
Here.
Waters.
Here.
Brecken.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Scott.
Okay, may we join in with a silent prayer. I'd like to have everyone please remember that today is Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. So please remember that in silence. And we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance following that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have some interviews for City Council appointed boards, commissions, and committees. Today, the Art Center Board of Trustees, Shelby Prindeville. And are we doing this remotely? Okay.
Mayor and Council, we're trying to implement a new Microsoft Teams. It's like a Zoom meeting type of protocol. So bear with us. We're testing it out today before we try to go real big with it.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a little. There we go. Thanks.
Okay.
Somewhat.
Somewhat? Okay. We'll do our best here. Thanks for joining in. Council, this is Shelby.
Hi, Shelby.
Hey, Shelby.
Hi, Shelby. Thanks for making an application for the Art Center Board of Trustees. Do you want to tell the council a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah. So I moved to Sioux City about a year and a half ago to take the art department head position at Morningside College. And so since then, I've been working at Morningside and integrating into the local arts community here. And I know one of the former members of the board of the Sioux City Art Council, Terry McGaffin, and the current chair, Gail Ament, suggested that I apply.
Very good. Any questions for Shelby?
Shelby, do you bring with you a lot of new ideas for these virtual art festivals and things?
I think I did mention that I think that currently, given the pandemic, the virtual arena is something that we could embrace. I don't know if I have a ton of different experience than the other people. I think we're all learning together at the same time how to do this.
Yes, well, I'm glad to hear that you're open to it.
As long as the pandemic continues, that's helpful.
Great.
Any other questions?
No.
No,
Oh,
thanks
thank
for
you
making the application.
Thank you, Shelby.
Yeah, thank you so much for entertaining it.
Oh.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, Shelby, you can go ahead and sign off.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Next is Inclusive Sioux City Advisory Committee, Peggy Law.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, is this Peggy?
Yes, this is.
All right, you're on with City Council.
Hi, Peggy. You want to tell us a little
Hi,
bit
guys.
about yourself?
Yes. Born and raised in Sioux City, we run the Asian grocery store, Hong Kong Supermarket. Co-founder of Asian Fest. On the Art Center Board trustee. Local activist for the community. Any questions, I will answer to the best I can.
Okay, thank you, Peggy, and thank you for making an application to this committee. Any questions by council members?
No, I would just say thanks for your commitment to your community, as well as your interest and your ability to serve in this capacity. And baby Zeus looks pretty adorable.
Thank you, Alex.
Peggy, do you have any ideas? You mentioned community activities. Do you have any specific ideas on what some of those activities might be?
One is coming up hopefully in the summer, Asian Fest. our new food truck lot. So hopefully that will be able to run this coming year since we didn't get to do it this year. The food truck lot will have 7 different food trucks, and then we can do many more events there if we can, hopefully when this COVID subsides,
Well, that's
which is
great.
one of them.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for making the application.
Thanks, Peggy.
You're welcome.
Bye.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks, Peggy. You can go ahead and sign off.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next interview, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, Cindy Brewer.
Cindy, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Cindy,
I'm on the phone.
this is Dan. Would you tell us, we already know a little bit about you, but why don't you tell us what you might be focusing on, what your interests are? I know you've served one term and you served it very, very well for us. What would you like to do this second term?
Thank you very much. Basically, I would like to continue with the advisory board. I think Matt Salvador has done such an excellent job, and the whole team at the Park and Rec. Also, the support from City Council has been just amazing. Our city has just really embraced everything, and you can see it all over our community. What I'd like to do my second term is I was actually on the committee. I was the committee for the Riverfront project, and I would really like to see that all the way through on my second term. I'd also like to, again, just focus on the bike trails, still look at pools, doing amazing things in our community for families and kids and older adults to be able to stay in our community and also enjoy our community. And I think we have done an excellent job doing this, even through COVID. COVID, again, was Matt and his team really got out there and made sure that people had things to do in our parks and in our community. So that's what I'd like to do my second term.
Thanks, Cindy. Any questions?
Well, that's an awesome list of why you would like to do it. I love it that you want to see those projects through. So excellent. Thank you.
I really do. And it's so exciting to see the work being done on the riverfront right now. So we're so lucky to have that beautiful place, and it's going to be amazing when it's done.
We are. Your advisory group has already been kind of working on it for, is it 3 years now?
God, I think longer.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it's longer.
Oh, that
yeah.
could be. That could be.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, you know, we've had a great group with the Riverfront Project Committee, and, you know, it's just going to get exciting once they start really rolling down there, getting everything going. So, and the Expo Center, my gosh, that is amazing.
It is.
Yes,
All right.
it
Well, thank you
is.
so much.
Yeah, thank you, Cindy.
Yep, thank you, Cindy.
Well, no, thank you all.
Goodbye.
Can I go now?
You may go. Yes. Okay, we'll move to the consent agenda. I'm sorry, I need to wait for my city clerk. Okay, we'll move to the consent agenda. Items 3 through 12E constitute a consent agenda. Items pass unanimously unless a separate roll call vote is requested by a council member. Any person wishing to speak on an agenda item may come to the podium at the time the item is being discussed. Any person wishing to speak on an item not on the agenda may do so at the end of the regular meeting during citizen concerns. Please fill out a citizen concern card found outside the chamber's entrance and give it to the city manager, who's sitting to my far left over there against the wall. All speakers shall state their name and address for the record, please, and then provide their statement. I will move the consent agenda.
Second.
Agenda item 3, reading of the City Council minutes of November 23rd. Agenda item 4, resolution authorizing payment to Western Specialty Contractors for the Heritage Parking Ramp Repair Project. Item 5, resolution inviting proposals for land in the combined Central Sioux City CBD urban renewal area, announcing the intent to accept the proposal of Harkey Development and scheduling a hearing. Agenda item 6, motion appointing Phyllis Perez to the Civil Service Commission. Item 7, resolution awarding a purchase order to Stu Hansen Dodge City Jeep for 2 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo vehicles.
May I ask a question on that?
Yes.
Okay. My question's fairly simple.
Afternoon, Council. Jim Hayden, EMS Director. Almost forgot my job there.
Good afternoon.
Don't make the questions too hard.
I won't. My question is, it doesn't seem that we're replacing apples to apples, was one of my questions.
Yeah, we're basically
replacing an F-250.
We're replacing an Excursion
and an
that was
Excursion,
part
which
of
is
USTAR, and then got transferred to the EMS division, and also the F-250 that was the old training vehicle that got transferred to EMS. So it's apples to apples. Initially, we were looking at keeping one of the other vehicles, but that's been changed to just apples to apples.
I mean, for the purpose, an F-250 is an apples to apples to a Jeep.
Actually, we were really exploring what exactly we needed for vehicles.
Right.
And it's not like we need to haul an incredible amount of equipment like the F-250 would enable us to do.
Right.
We're mainly going to be hauling a couple of medical bags at the most, and then just using them for
So it'll be more
transportation.
for staff to be traveling
Yes.
in or something smaller and.
Staff
okay.
and some smaller supplies. I mean, if we get a scene where we need additional supplies and so on, these will actually work out pretty well.
Okay.
A little handier to get in and out of
But we
place.
just don't need the type of vehicles that we were, that you had, and so we're going to replace it with something that's
Yeah,
more
and these will
effective.
be actually a lot better on gas. I know that F-250, no matter what you do to it, it gets 9 miles a gallon.
Same thing for that
So
Excursion,
This will be a lot better, yeah.
right?
Well, and actually, are you
I'm done.
good? Actually, Jim, you kind of brought up my point for me, man. Was what I was going to ask was just about, is there a reason that we need Jeep Grand Cherokees or these large vehicles? I mean, if they're just personnel transportation, is there any reason we couldn't have a $15,000 car that we normally get with
Well,
other vehicles?
We looked into that as well, and when getting around in the wintertime, there's sometimes that these will be used as logistics for the, support for the ambulances that are out there operating as well. And for that reason, we went with four-wheel drive.
I do know
or
that the
all-wheel
Laredos
drive
are the
vehicle
cheaper
of
model.
sorts, yeah.
Yeah, I just want us to, sometimes I feel like in theory, we're like, oh, we really want four-wheel drive, we need an SUV or something. And then it's like, in all reality, oh, we took it in the snow once. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure we're doing a due diligence to make sure it's need versus want and stuff like that, which I trust your judgment. I'm not saying I don't. I want us to really be cognizant of that.
We really explored different options on that, and in past use of supporting the ambulances that are out there operating, it's not necessary all the time, but when it's necessary, it's really necessary. And the SUVs will give us the ability to haul some of the bags and so on safely without having to strap them into the back seat of a car or try and cram them into a trunk, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I do think you got a good price on it. I don't think it's outlandish.
We tried to be as conscious and responsible as possible with the dollars given, and that's pretty much why we ended up what we came up with.
Yep. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks,
Thank
Jim.
you.
Items 8A through 8F are motions approving annual reports. For the A is the Effective Fiscal and Public Policy Committee. B is Public Museum. I do have one comment to make on the Public Museum annual report. I don't know if Steve is here. Steve is not. Okay. I appreciate, by the way, on all of these annual reports, I appreciate the staff and the directors putting these together. It's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of good information. But I just want to point out on the Public Museum report, the volunteers, they still amaze me by the number of volunteers that serve at the Public Museum. They state in their report during the past fiscal year, 102 volunteers contributed 5,626 hours of service for the museum, Pierce Mansion, and Welcome Center, in addition to 7 student volunteers and 9 student interns. Other community volunteers served on boards. So that's just an amazing figure right there, and we do appreciate our volunteers in the community that make the Public Museum the success that it is. Under C, Parking and Skywalk System Board of Trustees, I have a couple of comments on that one. The new parking meters is being discussed in the annual report. Hi there.
Hi.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. The new parking meters you discuss and point out how we're phasing those in and taking care of the old ones. The LED lighting, which is really important in the parking ramps. You pointed that out. And then the city council communication, which we appreciate receiving. One thing that came up, and I don't know if this was in the, I'm sorry, I got to get this a little bit organized. The traffic counts, or the counts on the Skywalk, 30% more, and so that's up. Did I read that right, or was that for another, is that for the parking? Maybe that was for the parking ramps. Where the counts are 30% more at various locations, and you talk about the pay-by-phone app, where there's an increase of $17,000 on that. I'm on page, under accomplishments. I don't see a page number. It's usage of the Skywalk system traffic counts. It's under the,
I see that.
yeah, the first.
That shouldn't be in there.
It should not be?
No,
Okay.
because our counts have consistently been going down.
Well, I wondered about that, but maybe I read that incorrectly where it says said physical counts consistently reflect approximately 30% more counts at random locations.
And there are in some locations, like our locations, like the school district, for example.
Okay, can you put the mic over by you closer, please?
When we have students coming and going to classes, those locations have more counts, but we've got some also that are considerably down. Let's say, for example, the connection to the hospital, because that's been locked down since COVID started.
Okay.
And a lot of the Skywalk is experiencing quite a bit less usage because of that.
What about what you have by the pay-by-phone app where there's an increase of $17,600?
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes,
And I know this is a report that goes through June 30 of 2020.
correct.
So we're picking up a good part of the first part of the year where we don't have the COVID-19.
There are more and more people that use the Park Mobile app on a consistent basis.
Okay. I think that's all I have. Did anybody else have any comments about the
No.
parking? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. D is the Active Transportation Advisory Committee. I had a comment on that one. Sorry, folks, but, they talked about the park on the Active Transportation Advisory Committee. They pointed out their 2020 accomplishments, shareholder in the Simcoe bike lane study. We all know how important the bike lane study is, so there you are. Thank you for being here, Chris. And then under goals, work as a group to steer the development of a bicycle, pedestrian, and trails master plan. So we will end up having a master plan of some sort for bike trails?
Correct. Chris Madsen, Senior Planner. It is in the CIP. I believe it's out a couple of years, but
Okay.
That is programmed to be completed.
And then we're adopting, another goal is to adopt new language for the municipal code for bicyclist and bike lanes.
Correct. Yep. The committee's
Okay.
doing research on what other cities have done. Obviously, we just opened our first on-street bike lane.
Okay, and I very much appreciate that you've stressed the safety aspects of what we're trying to do here, so we don't have any terrible accidents to deal with. So thank you, Chris, for that. Anybody else have any questions?
No.
Okay. E's Board of Adjustment. When you read through the Board of Adjustment report, as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission report, and Chris is still up here for that, you'll see that their numbers are way up for what they are doing, the activity that they have. So we appreciate what Planning and Zoning's been doing, as well as the Board of Adjustment. Anybody have any questions on those reports?
Been busy.
Yeah, I do think it's important to note on 8F, the P&Z, the comment as of November 3rd, 2020, we have 476 new homes in the city. I think that shows how busy they have been and how active the community is and the city in encouraging and working to build new homes for the city. So,
Yeah, it's been successful.
yes.
I had that point. That same paragraph, Pete, talks about and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but 60 Development Review Committee submittals, that's where decisions are made at the DRC level, and they don't even have to go to Planning and Zoning or the council many times, do they?
Unless something's appealed. So if they can't meet a setback or there's some issue, usually that's something that's discussed with the petitioner and staff well in advance. But we would usually then direct them that is an option if they can't meet something per municipal code, that they can appeal to the Planning Commission.
Okay, so the Development Review Committee process is working out, I would say it's working out well for us.
There was about 6 or 7 all year that were appealed, so it's not about 10%, so that's not very many of the total items.
That's a good record. Thank you. Okay, agenda item 9, actions relating to agreements and contracts. 9A is resolution approving a transit station license agreement with United Food and Commercial Workers Union, Local 222. Hang on a minute. That's on the bus shelter, correct?
Correct.
Which is needed. So no, thanks for working that out, Renee. 9B, resolution approving work order number 46 with RS&H Iowa for the rehabilitation of runway 13/31 at the airport. 9C, resolution approving a release and settlement agreement with Overlook Developers for the Christie Road Trail. 9D, resolution approving development and minimum assessment agreements with am I pronouncing that right, by the way? Is it Harkey? Okay. RK Development for 705 Douglas Street.
I did have a question about that. And this, it isn't necessarily for staff, it was more, I think it honestly would be for you, Councilman Moore, or just even if the city manager would know. When do we start to have conversations of what the law enforcement or sheriff's office is going to be utilized for? When do we start that conversation? Because this is a development agreement for right across the street. So I've always wondered about, well, we're going to repurpose that or what that's going to look like down the road.
Mayor and Council, I believe that's a few years away. I think the terms of the agreement is the county needs to demolish the building and provide it that it's free and clear of any brownfield or other issues.
Okay.
At that point, then they would deed it to the city for us to begin marketing.
Okay. And that's a few years, you think, right?
Yeah, I believe it'll be at least 2 years before the jail is up and operating.
Okay.
Is that owned by the county or the city?
It's currently owned by the county.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So that's a few years down the road. Maybe we can make it sooner rather than later. Hey, this is an exciting project, by the way, on the Benson building. I highlighted this, and Chris and Marty and Renee, thank you for your work on this. It'll be 65 market rate apartment units and approximately 20,000 square feet of first floor commercial space to downtown Sioux City. There's a minimum assessment agreement. If I read that correctly, it's a minimum assessment of $6 million split between commercial usage, which would be about $2.5 million, and the residential's about just under $3.5 million for the minimum assessment agreement. And then the property tax rebate over a 10-year period will not exceed $1 million total. Isn't that correct?
regardless of what the assessment comes in at. If it's a higher tax that's paid, then the rebate is retired sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that's how the agreement is written.
Okay.
Steve Nelson, the developer, is here if you have any
Okay.
questions or
Thank you for that development. We really appreciate that. We're looking forward to it. It's, I mean, and that's, it's a lot of market rate apartment units going in. And that's good, so thank you. Does anybody else have any comments or questions on that one?
I would say we're looking forward to it, definitely. And glad you secured the roof line or whatever it was on that south side, on the sidewalk. That was much needed, so thank you.
And the completion date seems realistic to me, that December 31, 2022 date, that will be completed. So they'll be moving along. So thank you. Agenda item 10, actions relating to personnel. 10A, resolution adding an additional administrative secretary position within the Neighborhood Services Division.
I had a question about that. And Jill, it's just because I see you here. I apologize, Bob. I've been harping about emailing staff before and not making them come up here, so I apologize I didn't get to that today. Jill, I was just going to ask for an update of where we are with the space at MLK. Is that moving forward? Where are we at with that? I just wanted an update.
Yeah, sure. Jill Wanderscheid, Neighborhood Services Manager. MLK space is fully staffed. Everyone has moved down there as of the middle of October, towards the end of October. And so we're just waiting on a few punch list items for furniture and things like that. But yes, as soon as we're all the way moved in, ready to go, and you can stop in there anytime too, of course, but we might have a little kind of press release or something like that at that point, probably in the next week or so.
Okay.
Who's all housed there again, Jill?
Darlene McMullen, Clara McFarland Coley, Jacob Harlan, and did I say Darlene? Clara,
Yes.
or Amy Kearns. I think that's 4. And then we have a secretary that goes back and forth, Haley Hines Gall.
You're going to be lonely then, aren't you?
We still have plenty in City Hall too.
No, I just meant people in the office.
Yeah, here in City Hall, we have all of our housing rehab staff and everyone that works in our lead grant program and all of that kind of stuff too, still here in City Hall. And then this position will be housed out of MLK also, and we think that'll be a great thing for those that are struggling finding housing and those kinds of things. So it'll be great.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out on the proposed administrative secretary. If you read the write-up, it says the position will act, that person will act as the housing navigator. Services to be provided include connecting those that are homeless to available apartments and building relationships with landlords to increase interest in participating in various housing programs that serve homeless individuals and families. So that's a big deal. It really is.
I love the housing navigator piece of it. I really do, because so many people do not know what that first step is.
Exactly, yeah. Especially if you're in a traumatic situation or, you know, you have so many things going on in your life that are chaos. It's difficult to be able to take that step. So we think this is an important missing piece right now for sure. So we were thrilled to get these funds from the state of Iowa. They're ESG CV funds, but they've been funneled through the state of Iowa. So we were absolutely thrilled to get the
Absolutely.
Can I put you on the spot? Not too long ago, maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago, there was a number presented to us, the people that were placed in homes and apartments. Was it in the 80s? I want to say it was 88.
I'm trying to think, as of right now, since the pandemic began, I think we've housed probably right around 50 households consisting of well over 100 people, and those are in scattered apartments across the city. We'll continue to do that, and this position
I
will
knew
help
that you
quite a
would hit
bit.
100. I knew it. I believe that number of people that were affected and benefit was perhaps 88. But I want to congratulate you and your department for doing that, because that's on the forefront of everyone's mind all the time. You know, it's evident on the streets that we have homeless people, and when people are commuting in and out of the city and around the neighborhoods, they see people and they want to know, what are you doing? You know, what is the city doing? The city, you guys are doing a lot.
Thank you.
And I commend you for that.
Yeah,
I
I'll
do. I
definitely
get a
pass that
little even teary-eyed over that. You know, 100 bodies are no longer on the street. And that's because of you and your team. That's wonderful. Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, and we will be doing we partner with the police department as well, but we will be doing, it's in post-production right now, about a 4-minute video that tells the story of what these funds do, what has occurred over the last year. And that'll really help to get the word out in the community about how you can help and
Can you
what's
get the
being done.
gentleman who's going to the barbecue for the first time ever and he didn't know what to bring, remember?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
That would be an amazing story to share. It really would. It really, really would.
Yeah.
We're always going to have homeless people on the street. We are. And as, you know, and how we treat them, they can be homeless and we can still be humane,
Exactly.
right?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jill.
Thank
Good-
you.
Good job.
Thanks.
Agenda item 10B, resolution amending the position classification manual by updating the risk manager job description. Agenda item 11, applications for beer and liquor licenses. See the list and come forward if you have any questions. 12, receipt of minutes. See the list and come forward if you have any questions. This is the end of the consent agenda. Is there anyone to be heard on any of those preceding items? There being none, we can vote, please.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
The consent agenda passes on a vote of 4-0 with Mayor Scott absent. Recommendations of planning and zoning, agenda item 13, hearing and ordinance vacating a portion of Hale Street, petitioner Stephen and Aaron Strong. P&Z recommends approval. I will open the public hearing now. Would anyone like to speak for or against this ordinance? Any questions by council members?
No.
Okay, the hearing is now closed. I'll move. Yeah, I'll move the item 13.
Second.
Thank you, Alex.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Okay, and then any objections to waiving the second and third reading?
No.
Or waiving the rules for second and third? Okay, could we take a vote on that, please?
I'll need a motion.
Well, I'll move that we waive
Second.
the statutory rule for second and third readings. Thanks, Pete.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
I'll move second and third reading.
Second.
Thank you, Alex.
Shaner?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye. Hearings, agenda item 14, hearing and resolution approving a proposal to sell property near 1414 Lacey Boulevard. The petitioner is Mid-American Energy. I will move that item.
Second.
I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak for or against this resolution? Anybody have any discussion on the council? Okay. The hearing is now closed.
Shaner?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye. Do I need to go back and redo 13? I opened it for public hearing, but then I took the motion and seconded it.
Oh, to close the hearing?
I should have a motion and a second and then go into the public hearing. I just realized that. You want me to redo 13? If you think we're okay. Okay, I'm going to do that because it's a vacation. I want to make sure we do that properly. So if, council, if we could go back to agenda item 13, please. I will move to reconsider agenda item 13.
Second.
Okay, thanks, Alex. The public hearing on the reconsideration is now open. Would anyone like to speak for or against this ordinance? Is there any discussion by council?
No.
Okay, the hearing is now closed. Take the vote, please.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Is there any objection to waiving the statutory rule?
No.
No.
I will move that we waive the statutory rule.
Second.
Thank you, Pete.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
I'll move second and third.
Second.
Thank you, Alex.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Agenda item number 15, hearing and resolution determining an area of the city to be blighted in an economic development area, designating it as an urban renewal project, and adopting amendment number 2 to the combined Central Sioux City CBD urban renewal plan. I'll move that item.
Second.
Thank you, Alex. The public hearing is now open. Would anyone like to speak for or against this resolution? Any discussion by the council? There being none, the hearing is now closed. We'll take the vote, please.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Okay, that passes 4-0. As did the other ones. I should be announcing that too. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of leaving out some of the details, but the other items passed 4-0 as well. And the record will reflect that if you listen to the meeting. Agenda item 16, hearing and resolution approving plans and specs for the NVC Regional Stormwater Detention Improvements Project. I will move to amend the item by rescinding resolution number 2020-0875 to cancel the project entitled NVC Regional Stormwater Detention Improvements Project and canceling the public hearing on the same. Is there a second?
What's happening? I guess I missed it.
Gordon, can you please address this for us? Why we're just pulling the item, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Gordon Fair, city engineer. We've decided to pull this project until a later date so that we can further investigate the sanitary interceptor that's going underneath Outer Drive, that same location. We don't want to build this project and then have to damage some of it if we have to fix that sewer, sanitary sewer.
Is that going to hold up any of the other projects, or will be okay?
Nope.
Okay.
It's just for the detention, for retention, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or no, detention.
Of the water coming from Perry Creek?
No, for all the developments, Aldi's, and
Oh, it's over
the
there.
new
Okay.
stuff that's going in there. All that'll do is it'll delay that. So as long as we've got a plan for it in the near future, which will hopefully will be this summer, this coming summer, obviously.
Okay.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thanks.
Ready for the vote?
You'll need a second.
Second.
No.
I wanted to know about it first, sorry.
Thanks, Al.
Shaner?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye. The amendment, the motion as amended passes 4-0. I'll move that we approve the item as amended.
Second.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
That passes on a 4-0 vote. Ordinances, agenda item 17, ordinance amending chapter 10.30 miscellaneous city rules of the road to regulate pedestrian use of medians within city streets and highways. First consideration approved November 23, 2020. I will move the second reading.
Second.
Thank you, Alex. Is there any discussion? Anyone to be heard on agenda item 17? Okay, take the vote.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Any objections to waiving the statutory rule for the third reading, or do you want that to go into next week?
No.
No objections by me.
I'll move that we waive the statutory rule.
Second.
Thanks, Alex.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
I'll move the third reading.
Second.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
That passes 4-0. So that will go into effect, Nicole, in about a week? Upon the publication of the ordinance, which will be on Saturday. That's when that will take effect. Thank you, Nicole. Agenda item 18, citizen concerns. Is there anyone to be heard?
Hello.
Good afternoon.
How y'all doing?
Afternoon.
My name is Nick Koleski. I stay at 500 Prescott Street.
Hey, Nick, can we have you keep your mask on, man, if you don't mind?
Yeah, no problem.
Please. Thank you.
No problem.
Just maybe move the mic up a little closer to you, and
There we go.
we'll be good.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, well, there's an old story about a blind man walking towards a well, and there's a guy who's watching. If the blind man falls into a well, who gets the blame? Moral of the story, if you see something you can prevent, you should do something about it. So that's why I'm here, because I know that there's a whole bunch of craziness going on, and I want to point it out to my city, and I want to let y'all know that I know what's going on as well, and more people will be knowing soon. I want to back up real quick. You asked this man that was up here why he couldn't use a $15,000 vehicle, the EMT or paramedic, whatever it was, why he couldn't use a $15,000 vehicle. Why do the police need $60,000 Tahoes versus a Explorer or an Impala? What's the point of that? This is a question. I'm just asking. Can I get an answer? Does anybody have an answer for that? Or no?
No, I think the big issue, I'll tell you what I think, having been one of them, is that they need that four wheels to be able to get through during the winter months.
Yes,
We
like
can
an
have
Explorer.
anywhere from 4 to 6 months, and if the fire department can't get to where they need to be, it truly is a matter of life or death.
So like the Explorer, that's a four-wheel drive vehicle.
Yes, it is.
Half the size and almost half the cost. But there's a whole bunch of Tahoes out here.
Well,
That was just one thing I want to point
they
out.
have a lot of equipment they carry too.
Yes, sir.
And I
Yes,
don't know
sir.
if the chief wants to.
I just brought that up because he brought that up, and
Sure,
I just,
sure, I understand.
those are two
I understand.
very important people, so I just wondered how come they don't have the same as
Absolutely.
them.
Rex Mueller, Police Chief. Reason that we selected, and it was just a handful, a small amount, we have some larger officers that do not fit in the utility interceptor. The Explorer is a little smaller platform, so we have always traditionally kept just a handful, 3 to 4 of the Tahoes to fit our larger officers. And it's usually the taller officers, not wider officers necessarily.
All right.
Thank you, Chief.
While he's up here, I'm working downtown, and I see a police car downtown, I want to say every single day, around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, down there for a half hour, 45 minutes. Not a cop in there, it's just sitting there running. What's that about? Do you know what that would be about?
What
Two blocks down from the police department.
What location? You said officers aren't in them?
No, they're not.
Okay, a lot of times the computer, the accessories in there have to run, so the car's idle to keep the mechanics going. We are now looking at and purchasing hybrid vehicles so that it can run off the battery instead of gas.
Okay, and what's that? What are the police officers down there? What are they down there for every single day? What are they down there for every single day? Every single day.
Can you tell me the location and I'll look into it?
There's a parking ramp down there. It's right next to the Mid-American Energy. I took pictures on my phone. I got a couple of different cop car the numbers on the side of the car.
If you can tell me days and numbers, I can certainly figure that. I can figure that out.
2 blocks
for
down
you.
from the police department.
In the parking ramp.
No, not in the parking ramp. Parked on the street.
Okay. All right. Well, Caleb educated me on this. Officers do skywalk patrol because we occasionally have issues in the skywalk, so they'll park their squad and actually do foot patrol through the skywalks. And that's documented. I hear the officers getting complaint numbers so that they can do that. The city does experience the occasional problem in the skywalk. And in an effort to kind of curb any issues, our officers have been going on foot patrol around there.
Okay, so an hour, they're walking through them couple skywalks for hours.
I assure you, there's
Well, and Nick, actually, it's a long ways. There's a ton of blocks of skywalk, and we have asked officers to do that because we've asked them to increase their patrol.
All right. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask what's the purpose of this committee that you guys are taking the applications for? What is the whole meaning behind that committee? What is that going to be about?
The Inclusive Sioux City?
Yes, sir.
They're going to be able to set their own agenda items for what they think is important within the city to have inclusivity. And so it's important that we have the diversity on that committee. So they'll be looking at all types of agenda items, and they will be having, their meetings will be public.
All right, because A few weeks back, there's a few young ladies in here, one with 23 years experience from a police department in Texas, another one that was the director of Mary J. Trillia, and another one that just graduated in 2019 with a BA in psychology. You guys remember all three of them young ladies, correct? Yeah. Those, I mean, I couldn't, off the top of my head, I couldn't think of more deserving people than them.
Okay.
And then right after them people, I want to say it came from over here. There's a lady over here. She jumps in and says, we're waiting for an application from the NAACP. Can anybody tell me what application from the NAACP? Do you know?
Yeah, yes, I do. We have applications that will create the diversity on the committee.
All right. Well,
and if it's okay with you, I think you raise a lot of good points, and I'd like to try to keep it within the 3 minutes that we have. If you could go through all of your questions, we will get the appropriate people to get reports back to you on what we have, because otherwise we'll go past the 3 minutes and you might not get through all of your concerns.
I can come back. I don't want you guys to contact me. I want this to be recorded and for the public to see. This isn't just for me. I want to bring up points for everybody to see.
Well, I understand, but some of those items are good items that need to be addressed, and we need to do some homework on it to make sure we have the facts too.
All right. Well,
but I answered your question, I think, on the inclusive Sioux City.
Yes, sir, you did, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, the application period's open for everyone and for everyone, all to make application.
Oh, okay, thank you. So
you're welcome.
The person from the NAACP is the president. That's who you guys are waiting for, correct? I mean, you said we've already brought that up. That's who we was waiting for. That's who we was waiting for, and you guys already added him to.
Just a minute, Mr. Padmore.
Will this be a person designated by the NAACP that doesn't require?
Yeah, they get to choose them. Right.
Okay, well, the person from my understanding was the president of the NAACP would have been Ike Rayford, who you guys put on a task force with Rex Mueller and Monique Scarlett, correct? There's a task force that got...
the NAACP as a group gets to appoint someone.
Well,
okay, but there's a task force that just got made up about 3 months ago. After my situation got brought up, all of a sudden the task force has been trying to get set up for years. All of a sudden that just pops up now, and the leaders of it are this guy.
Nick,
there's a paper. I thought that's what it said in the paper. I
think, Nick, what it was in response to the whole social justice movement. You know what I mean? Not just your situation, but just saying we need to do better.
Okay, so you guys added these 3 individuals from Sioux City to the state's task force, correct? Ike Rayford, Rex Mueller, and Monique Scarlett. Isn't that what?
We asked them. This is a separate. I think what you're discussing is the Iowa Chiefs of Police NAACP Equity Task Force. That's a statewide initiative.
Yeah, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. So you guys did put them on.
It's 2 separate things.
It is, and I said that. So I said there's a task force that was brought up that you guys put him on that. I said he was coming. You're waiting for an application for this thing, and you guys already put Ike Rayford on the task force. The task force with him.
The city didn't put, I was contacted by some Iowa representatives from the Iowa Association of Chiefs of Police. It was the IACP and the NAACP Iowa Nebraska chapter that formed this group. This group reached out to me, and they reached out to Ike and Monique.
All I'm asking is if Ike Rayford is on that task force. You're sitting here saying, yes, he is, correct? Yes. He is.
But we didn't assign him to that.
Okay, you guys didn't. I'm sorry. I just know that he represents our city.
He was invited to join it.
I'm sorry?
He was invited to join it.
So he represents our city on this task force. He represents Sioux. So do you guys know Ike Rayford's past?
Yes.
You do know his past. What's his past? He's you brought my past up.
Sir, before we continue this, first, we're way beyond the 3 minutes, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
And what I
Rayford has not been appointed to the inclusive Sioux City.
Okay, no, but he is on the task force. But he is on the task force.
As a representative of the NAACP.
He's on the task force with Monique Scarlett and Rex Mueller. So he is on that task force, and he's a convicted felon. That from 7 years ago, when he was already a convicted felon from his previous history, he pulled a gun out on his son while his son had his child there, and the gun went off. So he got charged with another felony So this is the people that you guys want representing us, or he has representing us.
Okay.
They have representing us.
What other points do you have to raise for us?
Those are the points. This is who we have representing our city.
Your points are taken. We have those, and we appreciate that.
And there's,
okay?
I mean, there's a whole lot more with you guys as well, but he came in here, so I decided I would just bring that up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But there's a whole lot more with you guys as well, like how you guys just pass it on, who you guys want to do, what you guys want to do. From my understanding, you're new, and I'm telling you, these guys are doing Sioux City, they've been doing bad stuff for a long time, and I'm telling you, please do not get involved with them, because you will be in trouble just like they're going to be in trouble. If you're involved with it, you all get in trouble.
Okay.
Not just one person. If you know what's going on, you all get involved. So if you don't know, then okay, you don't know. But I mean, if you guys have been up here for 10, 15, 20 years in the city council, then you know exactly what's going on. Like aren't you the commissioner of the police or something? Didn't that title just get handed over to you from Bob Scott?
No, sir. But
didn't that just trade? Somebody up here is the commissioner. It just traded from. He retired.
We need to finish right now, though, please.
Okay, but are you the commissioner? Did it just pass down from Bob Scott to you?
We want to, just a minute, Pete, just a minute.
Yeah,
we want to respect.
All I can do is Google stuff and find out. That's how I'm finding. From my understanding, it said Bob Scott was employed by the law enforcement agency. He retired, and when he retired, I thought it said Dan Moore was the one that took over his position or whatever it was. You're talking about different subject matters. I'm trying to bring up all the crazy stuff that happens in our city.
But we have 3 minutes.
You guys are involved in a lot of stuff. That's why you guys are trying to sweep everything that I'm bringing up to you guys' attention. That's why it's getting swept under the rug, is because all you guys are involved in it. Like my lawyer that was 23 years old at the time, he's now a judge. The judge that was the judge at the time, he randomly became the lead judge of Sioux City months after my case. Okay. He's still the lead judge of Sioux City 15 years later. That's what I'm saying. You guys are doing a lot of dirty stuff. It's going to come back to y'all.
I need to ask.
Now my time is up. I'm going to
end it. You don't have to answer nothing else. But we'll make a note of all of this. We can get back to you.
Please do. Go back and watch the video.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you. Anyone else to be heard under citizen concerns? Okay, council concerns. Mr. Gretkin?
No, sir, I have none.
Okay. Council member Shaner?
I don't have any. What I wanted to bring up was about the homeless, and I was able to do that with Jill Wonderscheid earlier. I'm just very proud of what we're doing, proud that we're reducing numbers of people living on the street and not having a place to live and home insecurity, and I'm looking forward to taking it to another level.
Mr. Waters?
This past week we had, I think it was this past week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago because we haven't had a meeting. Just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. We did have a meeting with State of Iowa Department of Cultural Affairs. Councilmember Moore and myself were able to be on there. Had a great discussion, at least I felt, talking about some of the things we have going on in Sioux City, some of the ways that we hope to continue to improve, especially in regards to the cultural center and cultural arts, as well as different grant opportunities from Des Moines and from the state. So we had a good conversation there. Looking forward to seeing that come through. The next thing is we received a memo about how renewable fuels is now on board and going. And I couldn't be more appreciative to finally have some of those things going forward. It's been a long time coming. So whether it's Yang, Mark, Joe, even the legal team, I know Nicole and her staff, it was truly a joint and group effort. And so I really appreciate all of the hard work that went into that. I think it's a huge step forward in our community, even though it's not something we're ready to necessarily broadcast or have ribbon cuttings and everything. We want to see how things are going for a little while, and hopefully we're able to do that outside of a COVID-19 precaution down the road. But I, for one, am really excited about that project. And then the last thing that I would just really urge is the continued usage of masks. Continuing to wear those things anytime you're in a public setting, whether it's the governor's proclamation, we're trying to follow those guidelines, or otherwise, I would just ask that you continue to think of your neighbors, your common man, and just continuing to protect yourself and those around you. I continually am discouraged when I just try to go get groceries or stop into a store to support our local economy. I get really concerned when we have so many community members that are refusing to wear a mask. And I would just ask all of us to do our part of protecting our community. I think it's the least that we could do, especially when we have, almost 200 people that have passed away in our community. I think, I don't know about the rest of the council, but I'm starting to hear more and more people that I know that are in hospitals fighting for their lives. And so I think anything that we can do to lead by example and to continue to urging that, I hope that our community and our leaders will continue to do. So with that, I believe that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Alex. I just want to have a memory of Skip Meisner, who passed away recently. He was very instrumental with Simcoe and was their leader, Simcoe's leader, and did many, many great things for this community over several decades. So it's a huge loss for the community. It's a huge loss for Simcoe. With that, I will move to adjourn.
Second.
Shaner.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Redkin.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Dan, nice job.